Hey guys, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for anybody who watched my video for my 10 Cloverfield review spoiler video. I probably had more hits on my chat. I probably had more hits on that video, more people comment on that video than anything else I posted on the channel thus far. So I really appreciate it. And if you want me to do more spoiler reviews, give me more feedback about more stuff you want to see, in a similar fashion, just please let me know, and I really appreciate it. And just like I said, I was going to do a special review for you guys, and so I was going to start by covering Once Upon a Time, at least season 5 of the show. Now I haven't watched the entirety of Once Upon a Time. It's not a series I've been following. I just know a bunch of my friends, guy friends, platonic girlfriends, were into the show, from being a fan of like Fables, which the show is loosely based on, and I like the concept of how I watched like the special they had before the season premiere, for the season 5 premiere, and just how the show is basically just about hope, and also how it kind of flipped the script on taking known fairy tale characters from both Disney and just Western fairy tales, and turning villains into heroes and vice versa. And they seem to continue this tradition with season 5 of the show, in which Emma Swan, the protagonist and the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, is possessed by the darkness, trying to save her loved ones, and it leads to her going into the Enchanted Forest, where she's tormented by, I guess, like a subconscious of the darkness. Takes the form of Rumpelstiltskin. She's confronted by Merida, who is a character from Brave. Never saw the movie, but I gotta say I liked the character in this incarnation, and I liked, the actress who played her, and also, I guess, the overall arc she had. I thought she was pretty badass, and how it showed this internal conflict of how she left the dagger of the savior to Regina, the former evil queen, to basically kill Emma in case she ever was completely consumed by the darkness. But through the help of, I guess, using apprentice's wand to they're basically able to, in a nutshell, they're able to go to the Enchanted Forest and try to help Emma. That's Regina, Henry, Emma's son, Snow White, Prince Charming, Beth, Granny's cafe, and ends up getting sucked there. End up getting, sent there by a tornado using the apprentice's wand. And they end up running into King Arthur, who basically says he wants to help them. But I guess you learn as the story goes along that basically King Arthur acts like the villain of the piece, just because he's so hell bent on completing Excalibur just to impress Merlin, to the point where he's using mind manipulation and spells, and doing all these morally questionable things just to recombine Excalibur, which is basically the shattered piece. Basically, the shattered piece that's missing is actually the dagger used. Is actually Emma's dagger. So he tries to. But even before they learn that, Regina tries to pose herself as the savior, just to not freak out everybody in Camelot, the Dark Ones in their presence. But it starts to become odd. But King Arthur starts to figure out what's going on, and Zelida I think it's Zelita, Regina's sister, basically ends up joining forces with him, and it basically leads joining forces with him, and because Hook, Captain Hook is also Emma's boyfriend, ends up here, who ends up dying. She, as a last resort, she puts some of the portion of like the darkness into Hook in order to save him, and then those like mostly covers the flashbacks, but it also leads to an issue in which they go back to Storybrooke with the 6 weeks of Camelot erased, of the memories erased, and Arthur's there as well, and he wants to try to turn Storybrooke into the new Camelot because he figures he can't get back to the original Camelot. But Zelena is the one who awakens Hook's memories about becoming a Dark One, and the power starts to slowly take over, and we learn about more of his backstory with him, about how his dad abandoned him, and how he killed, and how while working for Regina, he actually killed his own father just to get in her favor, and Hook deciding he wants to die a good man convinces Emma, after reassembling Excalibur, to kill him just to get rid of the darkness out of him, and both of them turn to normal, and Hook is sent to the underworld. But before that, there's this whole arc where Emma, as the Dark One, has to get Excalibur out of the stone, but only a hero is able to touch it, and so she's able to reawaken Mr. Gold, Rumpelstiltskin, who's now one of the good guys at this point. But the problem is he's very cowardly, and so he's also like dating Belle from Beauty and the Beast. That's his girlfriend, who tries to reawaken it, get him to become more courageous, and Emma decides to take Miranda's heart and use it to force her to kill Belle in order to bring out Rumpelstiltskin's bravery. And he finally steps up to the plate and is able to defeat Merida without actually killing her. And there's of course this like side episode where Belle's like when Belle and Merida are on this journey to like go save her brothers, and she eventually becomes Queen of Camelot by the end of the arc, and vows to get vengeance on King Arthur because he's responsible for killing her dad. Then it also leads to the 100th episode, but also the other is that secretly is that Rumpelstiltskin like used dark magic to bind himself to the reassembled Excalibur, and so he becomes a Dark One again, and now he's the most powerful of all the Dark Ones. So, but Emma, threatening to tell Belle about what Rumpelstiltskin's done, says that he wants him to use his magic to take him to the underworld to rescue Hook. And so while they're there, it basically looks like the underworld looks like a distorted like Storybrooke, and it's actually ruled by Hades, and actually has the spirits of all the essentially past villains and from the series, and whoever there has unfinished business. So you get Emma Caulfield from Buffy the Vampire Slayer as the Blind Witch. Yeah, Cruella de Vil, Peter Pan, as Rumpelstiltskin's father. So it's a lot of and so of course you have Regina's mother and Regina's father down there, who Regina trapped there because he once tried to keep her from he tried to stop her from carrying out her vendetta against Snow White in the past, and so she, I guess, took her heart, or banished, or I guess banished him. I guess took her heart in order to like start the curse that led to this whole, that kicked off the whole series. And her mother, Regina's mother, was down there saying that if she didn't if she didn't leave the underworld, that she was going to torture her father's soul, and just, or like send it down to this fiery pit. But the fact that I think but in the end, the fact that Regina's father was able to see Regina as the hero he always believed that she could be, that he was able to move on to the afterlife, and so they realized that they decided not to just be there just to save Hook, but also to free other spirits who have unfinished business, which also starts with and it also leads to doing the same for a girl named Meg, and also Herc, who actually taught Snow White archery and was her first love interest, and also he was supposed to be destined to defeat Cerberus, who was like the three-headed hellhound who runs the underworld and who's under Katie's control. But we find out that Cerberus actually did kill Hercules, and that's why he's in the underworld. And so the fact that Snow White's able to like boost his morale once again, and they're working together with basically Snow White, Herc, and Meg working together were able to defeat the Hellhound, and Herc makes up for not saving Meg the first time from Cerberus, and so they're both able to move on to the afterlife, or at least go travel to Olympus, and it results in Hades forcing Regina's mother to spend the rest of her life in the underworld as a peasant, and Hook, who's being tortured and actually helped Meg escape. Hades forces him now, for every soul that his friends free, that he has to pick a soul that will get trapped down there for eternity. Like I said, it's a pretty interesting show. I like what I see so far. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the complete history of the show, and I'm just trying to I'm basically just judging it based on what I've seen so far. I think it's a pretty good show. It's just something I just decided to watch just because it's totally, just because I'm very optimistic, not so cynical kind of thing, and it's just something I just kind of needed in my, just something I just needed in my life. Just for personal reasons. What do you guys think of the season 5 so far? How does it compare to other seasons? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.